Hello, hello, all. It is a cup of sports in the morning with you. As everyone else, I'm sure we have been plagued by the flu, both of our
Dude,
houses.
it's been rough, man.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone else is experiencing it right now too with the 20-degree weather. And then I checked earlier, we have a 54-degree coming up, and then it drops back down to the 20s and 30s, chance of snow, and then we have a 67-degree the following week. So like the
Yeah.
30-day forecast is all over the place, and I hope that guy doesn't get paid much to decide those numbers because they're almost always wrong. And if so, like I'll take that job. But yeah, so yeah, we're all living and vibing and living la vida
S-
loca right now.
Speaking of weather, you want to know something that blew my mind the other day when I found this out?
Go for it.
When they say there's a 30% chance of rain,
I learned this.
yeah, it means that it's 30% of the coverage area is going
Yes.
to get rain.
Yeah, no, I thought it was when they said 50, I was like, oh, it's 50-50 chance it's going to rain. And then when they said 70, I was like, there's a 70% chance it's going to rain in that whole zip code. Like, no,
Yeah.
there's a 70% of that zip code will be rained on.
Yeah.
And like, that's their estimation of it. And like, they're pretty fucking good at estimating that. Like, that's the thing is that
Right.
when they say it's a 10% rain, and then you get rained on, and you're like, "There's fucking. Of course it was gonna rain. It should have been 90%. Like, how did they not know it was gonna rain? Like, no, no, no. You just live in the 10% of area that got rained on.
Yeah.
Like
Wild.
everyone else. Yeah, dude. First time I learned that, it took me like 5 minutes to like comprehend it, and then I was like, oh, we're talking coverage area. Like, this is
Yeah.
a whole different portion of the percentage. Like, yeah, that's one of those ones where like you just feel lied to your whole life because every time you hear there's a percentage of this or percentage of that, you're like, that's what that means, and you move on about your day.
Yeah.
And we
For
were
sure.
wrong the whole time.
Yeah. So learn something new every day.
Always.
Uh, Speaking of something new,
Oh
uh,
boy.
we're now in our 30s,
Ugh,
unfortunately. And
getting old.
and so this question is brought to you by Reddit, per usual. What is an adult problem nobody prepared you for?
Oh, we were just talking about this the other day in our text. The amount of effort and time and everything, money, information, planning, organization that goes into making dinner every night. Like as a kid, you're just like, what are we having? And you expect that your parents have like this perfect Rolodex of stuff and they just pull something out every night. And some nights it's takeout, some nights it's fend for yourself, some nights it's this awesome homegrown meal. I cannot like I am now at that point where like I make a spreadsheet and like sort it by like last time I made this meal and stuff and I plan it out and I have a guideline for the week of like okay Sunday is like our nice home cooked meal, everyone's invited, let's cook something big, leftovers for the week. Monday it's the first day of the week, I don't want to cook anything crazy, I want to get home, I want to make hamburger helper sandwiches, grilled cheese, like it's a basic day. Like Mondays are leftovers, budget, basic, whatever. Tuesday is always Taco Tuesday. Like Wednesday is like a mini home. Like so, like I have like a system
Yeah,
for it because I realize that if I'm like, oh, like it's fine, let's just make whatever. I end up making either the same five things in a row always, or I make three like chicken meals 3 nights in a row. Not that I don't love chicken, but then someone else will point it out where like we have eaten nothing but chicken like 3 or 4 days in a row, and I'm like, fuck yeah, you're right. Or like we'll do it with pasta where it's like multiple pasta nights.
yeah,
So I have it planned now. Like and that's I said it to you the other day where I was like, I hate the fact that I get off work and it's just like 2 hours of like making, setting up, planning, dishwashing, and then like the night's over and I got to do a couple things and then move on. Because like the alternative is waste money and eat shittier. So like
right.
if I'm like, oh fuck it, let's just go get fucking 40 nuggets from McDonald's and some fries. Like now I'm spending money on that instead of cooking at home. I still got to run and get it. I'm paying for gas. Like yeah, the cost of eating food healthily as an adult is insane. Like it just. Are you watching the game right now?
No.
Okay, because Anthony Edwards buckets. I said earlier about how good he was and that he was going to get buckets tonight, and you look like you were watching, and I was about to be like, "See, told you," because he
No, no,
just
no.
like pulled up from free throw.
If you really want to know, I was watching my microphone to make sure that we were recording properly.
Love that. I'm not mad at that. I'm really not mad at that. Go get my buddy. I'll be up in a couple minutes.
Wait.
So, for what it's worth, my answer would be the amount of effort it takes to like maintain friendships. Just
Say, say it again. I missed it because Zach was down here.
that's fair.
Interrupted.
My answer is the amount of effort it takes to maintain friendships and like relationships with people.
Yeah,
Um,
that's. Go ahead. Elaborate.
he's still yelling at you, just so you know.
Yeah, yeah. No, he is. He's.
Okay.
It's his closing arguments. It's yeah, he'll
Got it.
wander off into the
Cool, cool, cool.
distance. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like like you mentioned, like you get home, you only have a few hours. Like we're parents, that's typically you only get that, few hours to sometimes only a couple minutes with your kid every night. And then it's like, man, I also got to like talk to these people and like check in with them and like all this stuff. Cause if I don't see them on a regular basis, a lot of times it's like out of sight, out of mind.
Yes. Yep.
And so like there's a lot of people that I'm like I'll just randomly think about them and be like, damn, I wonder how that person's doing. And I'm like, shit, I need to text them, like reach out right now, like just a
Yep.
minor, just like, hey, how you doing? Or
I wish I
like,
remember who it was, like a pod, like a Rogan type podcast where somebody was like, when you have that thought, send that message. And like since then, I've been like, okay, yeah,
that
like
sounds
I
like
need
a
to.
Bert thing to say.
No, 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 no. It was like a much more like, because I don't think Joe could stand Bert. It was like a much more like insightful thing. I see where you're coming from. Is like a text them 10 times that day if you thought about them, but not like that. Like an inspirational like
Oh,
philosophical
okay.
person. That was
Yeah.
like anytime you have that random thought where you're like you tell someone a story about how like in college me and this person did this. Like as soon as you're done with that conversation, text that person, hey man, thinking of you, was telling this story today, hope all is well. Like you don't know how far that goes and blah blah. And I was like, damn, that is like a, because otherwise like what are you reaching out for? Like you do the hey,
Yeah.
how are you? Cool, good, sounds good. What are you making for dinner? Yeah, me too. Kids good? All right, bye. Like it kind of gives you like
Right.
that, if
Yeah.
they think of you, you use that as your excuse to reach out and say something. So
All right, fair enough.
but yeah, I wish I could remember who had said that. I thought maybe you were gonna say that that's where like you got it from too, but somebody had
No.
said that. So yeah, I need to do a better job of that too, because yeah, you're right. Like it could be as simple as like just sending that text and maintaining it, but then it's always like, I think my only counter argument to that would be that like everyone else also is living the same busy ass fucking life we are.
Oh,
So when
absolutely.
you have real true relationships like that, you could go a year or two and then just text that person and be like, bro, and like nothing has happened and it is just cool, you want to go to the bar this weekend, like let's go catch up.
Yes.
Like you could pick
That
back up
is.
with certain people without question.
Yeah.
Like
So that is typically when I text somebody like, hey, what's up? How you doing?
yeah,
That
there is
is
no why
my
are you reaching out to me, it's just
well,
right back into it.
for me, my lead is always like, hey, we should get dinner sometime, and like I try to schedule a dinner with
Yeah,
that
there you
person's
go.
family, something like that, like
Yep.
some
Yeah, yeah.
reason to get together and like actually have those conversations, as opposed
Yep.
to just trying to have it through text. Because like, look, we're all busy, we're all going through the same shit.
Yep.
Like,
That's yeah.
kids go to
I
bed, and
have
we're
that a
like,
lot where I feel
fuck.
guilty, and then it's like, yeah, they're
Yeah,
everyone else is doing the same shit I'm doing. Like we're all
yeah,
in the same boat. Like,
yeah.
yeah. I will say that I saw this today. It was like it was one of those posts where like I don't condone these at all because it is super annoying either way because like so it's not some people's choice, but like the either parent shaming or the no kid shaming, like the back and forth is
Mm.
so fucking stupid. Like the idea of somebody else doing what you think, like that's so dumb. But
Yes.
like it was funny where it was a post, like it was a parent group and they were just like, if you don't have kids and you could like you complain, like what are you complaining about? Like where does your money go? Where
Yeah,
does your time go? Like
dude.
how do you not have the resources to
Yes.
fix what you're complaining about? Like
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense that if you have any complaint in the world that you couldn't just get off work the next day and go fix that fucking complaint. Like how do you not just handle
Yeah.
whatever is wrong? But like I remember being kidless and life is still happening and shit still sucks and things are still strapped, but
Yeah.
like it, once you have kids that you just realize that like more than likely the chances are you were just being irresponsible with time and money and resources and everything
100%.
else, and then you're just like,
100%.
oh, this is how I should have been operating and I would have been in a way better spot. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, yeah, so yeah, so
Dude.
that I saw that posted and a guy was cracking up and I was just like, it was like the same day that Kevin was like on a cruise going snowmobiling in the mountains and we were like, what the fuck, dude, don't you work today? Like that was like literally I was like, oh, I wish I could live Kevin's life. Like that's
Yeah.
he's living the Vita Loca right now. Good
Yeah,
for him.
for sure. So
But yes.
for what it's worth, the NFL Combine was this weekend.
Ugh.
I don't know that there was anything really to take away from it. Nobody broke like like a 40 record
People
or
said they were gonna.
yeah.
I got a notification the kid said I'm gonna run a 4-1 today, and I'm always like, have you done it before? Like, have you done
Right.
this in a room? And if you did, you probably posted it on Snapchat and Instagram and everywhere else, so it'd been documented. We'd all be
Yeah.
talking about it. But like, people just coming in there like, oh my god, Tyus Jones from three, fucking logo three, at the end of the first quarter. Ugh. Yeah, caught me off guard. I didn't think that shit was going in. I forgot Tyus Jones still plays. Yeah, they I lost complete train of thought of that combine. I was watching and the kid talked about the 4-1. I was like, okay, I'll watch that, and then forgot about it. At one point, Joe said he wanted to watch football, so I was like, let me show you something. I put the combine on, and trying to explain. I'm like, these guys are gonna play football. This is like their test for how strong they are. And Joe and Mac both were just like, they're just running in a line. And I was like, I know they're trying to like see how fast they are. They were like, why don't they have a football? And I was like, they should be carrying a football. You're not wrong there. Like, I don't have anything for that. Like, you are right. They should be at least carrying a football on the 40-yard dash, lineman or not. Like, okay, you got me. But yeah, so it's just like the combine to me is just like, I don't know. It is like, I don't know. I get why they do it, and it's one of those important things, and they got to have it done. But like,
Right.
your Burrow, like his hands are too small. He's going to be the worst quarterback. Oh, now he's a top 3-5 quarterback in the league.
Yes.
Like, put him on a team that's not dog shit like the Bengals, and he would have won 2 Super Bowls by now. Like,
Yeah, honestly.
yeah,
He
so
almost
yeah,
won
so,
one.
that's what I'm saying, like with the Bengals. So yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, so yeah, the combine we tried to watch it for a little bit, and that's they had good logical questions. Where I was like, yeah, you're right. Let's go back to basketball or whatever the hell else we were watching. But
For what it's worth, I completely ignored the combine and went back and rewatched the Eagles Super Bowl run. Watched all 4 games in their entirety.
there you go.
Just
Oh,
back to back to
you
back
had
to
a
back.
great kid-free weekend.
Was,
You did the right things this weekend.
It wasn't great because I was sick, but
Yeah, true.
it was.
Aside from that,
Yeah.
you made the best of it. You made the best of it.
Yeah, I was like, well, if I gotta lay here in front of the couch all day, I might as well.
You said Jimmy McGill, divisional round. Jimmy McGill, conference championship. Jimmy McGill, championship. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, finding out about the McGill portion of that is just an interesting twist, huh?
Yeah.
Anyway, we won't get too carried away with Breaking Bad knowledge. But yeah, so yeah, like you said, yeah, combine is officially over now. It's wrapped up as far as today, earlier today, I believe, or even yesterday, maybe. No, it was today. Today, I think they finished up.
Yeah.
But yes, we have franchise tag deadlines, which is coming up. Free agency starts, so that's when things could start getting interesting. Like we know, the NFL is always kind of hit or miss if big moves are going to be made or not.
For what it's worth, free agency is also the start of the new league year,
Right.
which allows our next topic, the trade, to go through.
Yes. Go ahead. I'll let you handle it. It's your division.
Yeah. So for the record, I'm sure you probably know this by now. Deebo has been traded to the Commanders. I could not be more ecstatic. I absolutely hate the guy. Cannot stand him. I think he's overpaid. I think he's overweight. I understand that he is a threat as a number 2 wide receiver. He's a great 2. But like super excited. Like to watch Quinyanamo Bay and the exciting whites go and just lock him down. Like the
exciting whites.
Because he talks so much
West
trash, and now we get to see him 2 times a year. Like, couldn't be more excited about it.
Yeah. Especially because it is like he was on the 49ers, which is like kind of an Eagles rivalry. Then he goes to the Commanders and stays in the Eagles rivalry. So he kind of has that like already going. But
The only reason the 49ers can even be considered a rival is just recency bias because of the fact
it's
that
not even a rivalry. It's not even a rivalry. But yeah, it's just it's one of those. But yeah, it's just that you guys have had your meetings lately where you're not a divisional team, but you actually have some beef. Like you throw the Broncos and the Dolphins, like we mean nothing to each other, but the Broncos and the Patriots, like that's a fucking rivalry, but we're not in the same division. So it's kind of like that, I feel like, but not even to that extent. But I mean, I saw it, and I thought as soon as I saw it, I was like, okay, bad trade for both teams, like lose, nobody really won this, blah blah blah. And then I saw that it was for a 5th round pick. It was like, okay.
Yeah, the 49ers were offloading the contract.
Yes, like Then the Commanders, like they're gonna definitely. I don't know how restructuring all that bullshit works, but like I'm sure that there's some kind of conversations there because like they've had the conversations of other players wanting to come there in free agency and all that stuff. So like I'm sure that there's like other pieces being worked. I don't know how all that shit works, but I felt like the Commanders definitely won the trade with it for it only being a 5th round pick, like contract or not, like. Getting him out there with Scary Terry is pretty goddamn sweet, but yeah, like you said, like they got to play the Eagles twice a year. Like that's a fucking crazy defense now, and so,
like you got to play the Eagles twice a year. You need an offensive line.
Yeah, and they went and got a star receiver.
Yeah.
Like
Like
so
especially
unless they're focused in line in the draft, but
especially because like. Look, the Myles Garrett talks are heating up in Philadelphia.
That would be super crazy. That's like I saw that thing. Said,
people are saying.
Yep, people. Yeah, exactly. The walls are talking. People are saying, "Who are people?" I'm people.
Yeah.
The media. Technically, Compass Sports is media, so if we say it, the media is talking.
Yes.
But Myles Garrett to there would be crazy. I keep seeing Cooper Kupp to the Broncos, which is like. I don't know if this is my connection or yours. One of us is tripping right now. I keep seeing Cooper Cup to the Broncos, which like I don't hate. And like if we get Ashton Genty, like our offense becomes like this cool, high-powered, high-flying offense. But
Yeah.
still feel like we just need like better core pieces and like linebackers and line and all that good stuff, like the boring stuff. But hey, what do I know? I just play Madden all the time. No big deal. Um,
uh, Next thing, talking point. Stafford signs big, restructuring the contract, stays in
yep.
LA.
I saw that
I
report. I
didn't.
think that's why I put that note that he wanted 50 million a year and then ended up staying with LA. I don't even know how much he got, but
I was about to say I didn't see the 50 million number, so I was kind of relying on you for that.
that was a
But
rumor the
okay,
day prior because remember some of these notes are from Thursday when we didn't record,
yeah, yeah,
and that was the day where I saw it said Stafford's agent said he's seeking 50 million a year, and I was like, God damn! So then it was probably 50 million a year to leave the Rams. Is probably the wording of that was like he's willing to take less to stay home, but if he's got to
yeah,
leave, he'll take 50. I suppose I'll play for $50 million this
yeah,
year.
right, yeah,
Like yeah, can't imagine, but yeah, other than that, other players that are potentially getting traded: Tyreek Hill, Micah Parsons, DK Metcalf, Miles Garrett. So we already talked about it. Miles Garrett to the Eagles is a very real possibility. Howie Roseman has said that he'll trade people that are on expiring contracts or expiring superstars to go get Miles Garrett and have him retire an Eagle, which is just fucking crazy.
yeah.
DK Metcalf to the Steelers is what I keep seeing. I saw that, or there was another one I feel like I saw that
Be
DK was
interesting.
in. DK, now
I want to see
drawing a blank.
DK go to Buffalo. Let's see DK and Josh Allen play
Packers, not
together.
Steelers. Packers.
Oh,
When I
okay.
said Steelers, it felt wrong, so it's not Steelers at all. It
Gotcha.
wasn't that at all. It was the Packers. The Packers
Jordan
were.
Love.
So yeah,
DK,
Jordan
that
Love,
kinda makes
DK,
sense.
like yeah, that would be cool. Like that would be
Yeah.
sweet. Especially too, I don't know what it is, but like in Lambeau with that uniform and his fucking visor, like that'd be sick seeing him in a Packers uniform just running touchdowns over people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so DK could be on the move, and then Micah Parsons. There's been zero talk about that. No teams have had. Not that I've seen. I just checked it on Twitter earlier because I was curious about it. Um, Typed in Micah Parsons trade, did a little digging, did latest. Nobody of merit has said anything or done anything recently that I can see. So yeah, I feel like there's a chance he gets traded. Did you see by chance the Cowboys press conference the other day where they were It wasn't like an introductory for Brian Schottenheimer, but it was something else. And they were introducing the team, and they were like, "And Jerry Jones," like everybody claps and stuff. And it's like a new Dallas Cowboys head coach Brian Schottenheimer, and everybody claps, and woos, and shit. And it was like a stall for a second, and then they're like, "And Vice President of Football Operations, Stephen Jones." Dead silent. Whole press conference is dead silent. Brian Schottenheimer goes, "We'll clap for you," and like sitting next to him, and Stephen's like, and just it's the most awkward shit ever. And it's like, and I went to the comments, and it was like people were like, "Why do people hate Steven so much?" And they were like, "Imagine like the kid at your job is 25 years younger than you, and his dad is the boss," and it was like, oh, okay, yeah, like he is the worst person ever and doesn't seem to care about football. But anyway,
Yeah.
so the Cowboys, just what a disaster. And then last one, of course, Tyreek Hill. Him winning out of Miami is going to be an interesting situation because who comes back for that? And does the Dolphins get any better? Does
He
Tua?
took that back though, right? He
Yeah, I
walked
think
that back at the end of last season. He
I
walked
still.
back his trade request. And
I
like
thought
McDaniels was
you
like,
might
nah,
be
he's gonna
right.
stay
Yeah,
here.
yeah, you might be right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because he was just pissed the last day and like walked off the field. That's right.
Yeah.
I forget who it was. That's I was reading this. These came from a tweet that I was reading, like not like a Schefter or like a what's the other like a Rappaport. It was one of them had retweeted one of these that it was like 4 players still likely to make a move this summer, and that's why I saw Hill and I was like, damn, like that would be crazy. But
Yeah.
and then the other one, of course, A-Rod. A-Rod could be on the move.
Yeah.
Um, the Giants have been rumored. The Colts, the Browns have rumored. I saw picking up Kirk Cousins. They said if somebody else doesn't sign, that they're gonna if they don't get the number 1 pick or if they can't trade for it or whatever, if they don't get Shador or something like that, like they're gonna sign Kirk.
Yeah.
So all kinds of weird movements right now. I did see too though that Shador could possibly. The way the tweet was worded was the heat on Shador is calming down because he didn't throw at pro day. Teams are concerned that he didn't improve a ton from season to season, and now that he's not throwing at pro day or at the combine, there's no way to measure his throwing ability.
Yeah.
So he might. They said basically his best pick would be 6th at the Raiders.
You got a kid.
But then I
you.
saw, huh?
You got a kid behind you.
Go get him right now. Okay, I'll take that. You go get it. Okay, go get bed. Let me know that his night light's out of batteries. And then I saw Pete Carroll interested in Sam Darnold for the Raiders. So Raiders picking Shador at 6, or Sam Darnold ended up out there. The Vikings bring back Kirk Cousins if Sam Darnold's out the
Yeah.
door. Like, yeah, there's so much QB movement that could happen right now, and like
Oh yeah.
none of it's like super exciting, like But then also like Russell Wilson and Justin Fields technically could still be moved too. Like I don't think either one of them been locked in at
Yep.
Pittsburgh yet. So
Correct.
all kinds of stuff happening.
So speaking of quarterbacks and not being locked in, I saw a post the other day. The New York Giants currently don't have a single quarterback under contract.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it was the and
Yeah.
it's the tweet
Ironically,
response.
the best
Yes.
quarterback room they've had in years.
Yes, this is the best that they've done in years. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
really bad. I would hate to be the
Absolutely
Giants right now.
burnt. And
Yeah, they're
then
just getting cooked too. The Hard Knocks thing does them no favors. Saquon
yeah,
winning a Super Bowl does them no favors. Like
yes,
not having a quarterback on the roster now does them no favors.
yeah,
With his son telling him to draft Jane Daniels, like, yeah, that video will forever be the fucking picture of the New York
oh yeah,
Giants.
yeah. And then I do just want to give a mention because I saw this and I think it's pretty cool. As an Eagles fan, it's the first time. It's the first time since their creation in 1933 that the Eagles are a winning franchise. They are now 667,
I did
665,
see
and
that.
27 all time.
Yes,
So
you
they're
guys
now
lost your
games
first
positive.
game and then
Yeah,
have been under 500 ever since.
yeah,
Just
500 or under
mediocre
ever since.
Kings.
Yeah. So,
That's awesome.
it took like 4 seasons of basically Nick Sirianni going like 10
12
plus
and 5,
wins.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we did finally get there. So,
Yeah, that's
congrats
crazy.
to them.
Speaking of wild stats, though, I'm gonna tail right off of that one. That one I said the other day, the last final unbeaten team of a season.
Yeah.
So the last team that went every week they do the little cross out and final remaining teams unbeaten 4-0, 5-0, 6-0. The last time that a team that has went unbeaten the last of the regular season lost or won the Super Bowl was 2006. It's been almost 20 years, and every team that has been the undefeated team has not won the Super Bowl ever since. The Colts
Yeah.
did it in 2006. They were the longest standing undefeated team that season before they lost, and then went on to win the Super Bowl. And then for almost 20 years after that,
Yeah.
a ton of teams have lost, which is just so crazy. So it's like getting off to a hot start really doesn't really mean much, because like this year with the Chiefs were 7-0 or whatever, 9-0 before they lost,
Yeah,
and then it was
9-0.
just like, yeah, and ended up losing the Super Bowl. So
Yeah.
yeah, crazy how that shit works out.
Yeah, it really is. Just it's also wild to see some of these teams and like you just think back and you look at like, damn, like I remember that team was hella good. Like the one that really comes to mind is the 2015 Panthers.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah.
damn, that Luke Kuechly and Cam Newton team, like,
Yeah.
sheesh.
Yeah. I will
And,
never.
yeah.
Yeah. I'll never forget that team, because that's who we won the Super Bowl against.
Right.
That's they were crazy that year, and I was just like, damn, dude, Cam could possibly just fucking tear us up, and instead we just shut his ass down.
I would be really curious to see this graphic with like how good do these teams do? Because like there's quite a few of them that I'm like, oh, they lost in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, I can remember that for sure.
Yeah.
And so like, is it just like you get there and you lose, or is
Yeah,
it like you're not getting
2010,
there kind of thing?
The Steelers beat the Cardinals in 2011, so it would have been the Packers.
Yeah.
Now, but, yeah.
But
I don't
also,
know.
if
Yeah,
I'm being
that's a good.
completely honest with you, I do not remember the Cardinals being good in 2021. That one shocked me. They're the last remaining unbeaten team in 2021, and I'm
Damn.
like, I don't remember that.
Yeah,
Like-
that's odd. We gotta do some fact checking here. 2021.
Was that-
because
Because that's
that's
like
Kyler
Kyler's
Murray
rookie
still.
year, right? Or maybe a second.
2021 Cardinals. I do actually now. I kind of remember that like there was a year where they were good, and it was like, oh shit, they're for real, and then they just have been dog shit ever since. 2021
Actually-
season for the Cardinals. Blah blah blah. Third under Cliff Kingsbury. They started 7-0. They improved from their previous 8-8 year. They clinched a playoff berth for the first time in almost 6-7 years. Despite a 7-0 start and getting All-Pro J.J. Watt and A.J. Green prior to the season starting, this team suffered their second consecutive late-season collapse, only winning 4 out of their last 10 games, resulting in losing their lead in the division and dropping to the 5th seed in the wild card of the playoffs. The Cardinals fell to the Rams on their way to the Super Bowl.
Hmm.
So it was the year that the Rams beat the Bengals. So it was
yeah.
that year. So yeah, so the because yeah, the Rams were not. The Rams started off slow and then caught wind late that year. The Cardinals were the hot team. I do kind of remember it now, like reading
Yeah, I
that
don't
little
remember it at
wiki.
all.
Really?
I mean,
I
I
do kind of
vaguely
now
do,
because
but
the
I
JJ
kind of
Watt thing and like AJ
yeah.
Green, like I do remember that. And then in the offseason, Patrick Peterson had left right before that. Larry Fitzgerald had chose not to sign with the team. Yeah, Larry Fitzgerald retired that year prior to, or the year after. So yeah, that was the year where, yeah, because that was the year where they were like, oh my god, is Larry gonna get it done? And then they just fucking fumbled the bag. JJ
Yeah.
Watt got it. Yeah, so
Gotcha.
yeah, no, yeah, you're right though. That one did stick out a lot. That's yeah. But yeah, what a weird stat that like if you're the last remaining unbeaten team, it's actually a pretty goddamn good chance you're not going to win the Super Bowl. Like, you put all your effort into winning, and now you suck. So, but yeah, so pretty
What's
much
going
all
on
we
in
have
the
for
NBA?
football. Yeah, onto
Getting
some hoop
getting primed
knowledge.
for some playoffs.
Yes, very much so. Starts
There's like what,
soon.
probably 20 games remaining.
I think 30. Right now, the Suns
Yeah.
are 28 and 32, which would be 40, 60. So you got 22 games left. Yeah, you're
Gotcha.
right. 40, 21. Yeah, so yeah, the Timberwolves are at 61 right now. So this is their 62nd. This is the Suns' 61st. So you have 20 games left, pretty much 3/4 of the way through the season. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of players right now that are just kind of cooking. Steph had 56 the other night. It was crazy. Um, Cade Cunningham for the Pistons is cooking. He's like one of the young stars in the league. I keep talking about how good Anthony Edwards is at basketball, and I just watched him leap into the galaxy to steal a ball, which was crazy. Like they threw like an overhead pass, and he just fucking swam back to go get that. That was nuts. It caught me off guard. Trae Young has been cooking lately, even though the Hawks haven't been doing super fantastic. The Lakers, last time we had talked, I was like, oh yeah, they're like struggling to stay above the play, and I think they're third or fourth in the West now. Like they had made a climb. And then the Celtics are living and dying by the three. We were up 25-3 the other night on the Cavs, who are the number one team in the league. We were dominating. Jason Tatum's flexing on the crowd, telling people to get the fuck out of here. We're clowning
in Cleveland,
them.
I presume.
Yeah, and then we lost. Yeah, so just like it was such a bad game. It just was such like a shitty like outing. Like we were up, we should have won that game, and then we got dog walked. But then we beat the Nuggets over the weekend. Like they're amazing, and they got Jokic and he's cooking right now. So yeah, there's a lot of good basketball, and I remember every year where like I try to get involved way earlier in the season, and it's just tough to do. And then like right at this point, it's like okay, yeah, it's like fucking go time. Like half to 3/4 basketball time is like really starting to get into crunch time. The trade deadline's over. Like once All Star Weekend's over, like it's go time. So we have arrived at NBA time. So yeah, I will be locked in. They're going to start running mostly. I think they now have double headers pretty much every night on national TV, like including NBA
Nothing
TV.
else
But
on.
yeah, there's nothing else on, so they run double headers almost every night. Like they play a lot of games on the West Coast, so 10:30 start isn't that crazy, which is what we're watching right now. But I think they actually started at 9:30 tonight. But
fair enough.
But yeah, so locked in, ready to go for some basketball, some hoops playoffs. We'll do some kind of fun like finals guessing, finals team betting, pick a team, pick a round kind of thing. We'll do something fun.
Yeah, because they do brackets, right, for the playoffs.
Yeah, it's top 8 seeds on both sides, and now they do that play-in tournament for the 7, 8, 9, 10 seeds.
Gotcha. Yeah, so we can talk about that. I do surprisingly have baseball news.
Oof.
This is kind of cool. I don't know how much you know about him, but Pete Rose was.
I know he's a famous player and or coach, and I know he did something with gambling, and he's like shunned but not shunned. I know he's like a disgrace to the MLB community, but then also they're like, no, that's fucking Pete Rose. Put some respect on his name. Okay. So I know that this is a common thing where the community and the MLB alike are like, nah, fuck that guy, but also like, you better fucking put some respect on that man's name. Right. We're gonna have him talk at this conference, but he can't have the Hall of Fame.
So he is.
I don't know what he did or what he
hitter in MLB.
Interesting.
All-time leading hitter.
Like all-time passing yards, equivalent.
Yeah,
like
pretty
he's
much.
Tom Brady. He's Tom Brady. Damn. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of other stats that kind of make Tom Brady kind of alone on that, Mount Rushmore, if you will, or mountain, I guess. But yeah, like that's right up there. Like
He's
having the
one of the
most
greatest.
passing yards. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's a title that
Um,
doesn't. There's no discrepancies about who has them. Like there is no
right.
like we got that on accident. Like
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, all right. What did
Um,
he bet on? What was the betting situation?
I don't really know the whole betting situation. That's pretty much
I'll
the extent of my knowledge as well. Um, but because of the betting situation, he is ineligible for the Baseball Hall of Fame.
okay.
Um, and so President Trump this week pardoned him. Um, Now, posthumously, he has passed away. Uh,
Oh
but
shit.
yeah, so President Trump pardoned him of basically all wrongdoing, legally speaking. Um, so now that he kind of threw it back in the MLB's hands of like, hey, this dude has no longer broken the law. So, like, what's going on? And I guess the commissioner of the MLB is now meeting with his family and reviewing petitions to reinstate him, uh, and uh, thus potentially making him eligible for the MLB Hall of Fame.
Interesting. So I am. So he just died recently.
I don't know that it was recently. Yeah, late September last year.
Oh, this article says on Monday, but the article was dated for September. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it does say. I don't know if it says like. So like it was one of those ones where. Yeah. So he betted. That's what I thought. I've been suspended for over 30 years. That's a long time to be suspended on betting on your own team to win. Yeah, I forever think that you should be able to bet on yourself to perform well, or you should be bet on yourself to. Now, see, perform well is kind of sus because like if you bet like, oh, I'm gonna bet $1 million on 10 plus 3 point attempts, you just go out there and chuck up 3 point attempts. Like that's one thing, but like you bet on your team to win, like now you got to go win like that. Like there's
Yeah,
nothing that opposes that. So like betting on your team to win, I feel like should be the number one thing that should just be allowed. Like that just is so goofy to me. I get that they don't want to have any gray in there, like it's just very black and white, but all sports. Like if you bet on your team to win, like if you lose, like you lose twice. Like you lost that night and you lost your bread. Like why does the MLB care? Like that's where I feel like Vegas should get involved and be like, these guys got real money. Let them bet on themselves. Let them fucking lose their money. Like we don't care.
I
Like I get it,
well,
it muddies the waters, but like people are doing it anyway. People are betting under their wives' accounts, their sister, their kids. Like people are
sure,
doing this shit anyway. People have bookies still. Like people are gambling in the back
yeah,
on the jet, playing poker and shit. So like they're illegally misappropriating funds no matter what. Like
yeah.
the shit's happening regardless.
Yeah, I don't know. I
But yeah,
see both sides of
it
this
adds too
argument.
much risk. It's pretty much a risk liability
Yes,
thing for them to go,
exactly.
hey, you can do it, but you can only do it in these scenarios. Like it just
Right.
adds
Yeah.
way too much to it.
Yeah, it's easier just to say, "Hey, you can't bet on our sport. Bet on anything
Period.
else, just not
Yeah.
our sport."
Yeah, don't do
And
that.
like I personally I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I'm not mad at that
Just
being the law. Like, yeah,
makes it
because
easier.
it's like it is what it is. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean Pete Rose also too then because like that was like prior to betting being fucking normalized and DraftKings writing all these leagues $1 billion check every
Yeah,
year and
right.
shit like that. So now like they're much more likely
Putting
like,
their
well, it's
names
not
on
that big of
jerseys
a
and
deal.
helmets and
Yeah,
fields
it's
and
not that big
stadiums.
of a deal, but like
Yeah.
it's like Richard Sherman clowning the NFL at time for being an NFL sponsored league, but not letting players talk about it or show pictures of them drinking alcohol or whatever. And it was like, aren't most of our sponsors Miller Lite? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. So then the record watch in the NHL is really the only thing to talk about there. Ovechkin is now 10 goals away with 22 games left. He has scored 3 goals in 3 games since we last talked about it.
3 goals,
Um,
3 games, like 9 goals or three and three.
3 goals in 3 games.
Okay.
So he's dropped it. He went from 13 goals down to now he's 10 goals down.
Okay.
He has 884 goals, 10 away from tying the record, and 22 games left to do it. So he
Okay.
picked up that pace real quick.
Ovechkin.
So there is now a full article on ESPN dedicated to the goal watch. It includes videos of every goal he scored this season, his upcoming schedule. Like they're really watching it. So um, I'm excited for it. I really hope he does it. Just one of those things that like you just don't get to see this stuff often, and like let alone to be like, oh my gosh, I remember like a lot of these goals because unfortunately he scored a lot of them against the Flyers over the
Right.
years. But like just seeing history, much like people wanting Saquon to break the records for rushing and all that stuff, or like the Chiefs with the three-peat, just seeing history, where it's just cool when it's not against your team.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um,
Anytime you're watching your team be on the wrong side of history, you're like, great, can't wait to watch that highlight in
yeah,
XX blank highlights 2020 whatever season. My
yes,
team would be on the wrong side of that shit. Like you guys, like thank God you guys beat the Chiefs because otherwise you're always just one of the teams that lost to him in the Super Bowl. Like you guys would
one
have
of
just been
two teams because we lost to him twice in the three-peat. That's what that would have been.
Oh
We
yeah,
lost
yeah,
to him the
yeah, too,
first
yeah,
time and the
yeah,
third
yeah,
time. Yeah,
yeah.
that's what that would have been.
That would have really sucked. Like, yeah, the Eagles stopped Tom Brady, but they couldn't stop Patrick Mahomes. Like
Yeah.
that would have been like you guys would have been his little brother forever, and instead you guys are like, whoa, we're
Yeah.
twins, fuck off. Like, yeah, that was close. That was very very close. But yeah, having your team on the wrong side of history is always a bad day.
Yeah.
That was like for me. I lucked out on this one with the sudden death, the first sudden death overtime playoff game with the Demaryius Thomas, Ike Taylor, stiff arm for 80 yards.
Yeah.
Saw that, love that. That highlight comes up all the time. We won on the next week to lose like 45-10 to the Patriots, and I was like, this game is never going to stop getting played. They went on to win the Super Bowl, so like no one cares about that middle game. They just that was just their path to the Super Bowl. People care about the fact that the Broncos won that on that play, and that's me. And so I'm always like, oh, thank God we don't talk about that. Thank God we don't talk about that because Tebow shit the bed.
Yeah. So we'll continue to keep you updated on that because I'm pretty heavily invested.
I was just you need to remind me if you're watching Ovechkin
goes.
games. Yeah, remind me if you're watching games because I'll tune in to see.
I won't watch his games until he gets like maybe 2 goals away, but probably only 1 goal away. Then I'll start watching. But
see, I don't know because
unless he does play the Flyers
game.
No, he easily could. But look, here's the thing: is let's say he's 3 goals away going into a game and he scores 2. Everybody and their brother's going to be getting updates that like, hey, Ovechkin's now 1 goal away.
Oh yeah,
can he get the hat trick in this game to tie the record? Like,
yeah, I don't trust myself to pay attention to live notifications that much. Like, I need to at least know the game is coming on that night. So I'm like, okay, that he's 3 goals away. Tonight's the night. I might need to pay attention.
Fair enough.
Because then, like, yeah, I can miss the first period or two more than likely, and then be like, all right, he's got 2. Let's log in. But
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely want to see that because, like you said, yeah, it's just one of those like historic things where it's where were you when Ovechkin crossed the mark? So yeah, my kids have the boys watch that for sure.
Yeah, and then that kind of throws us into some men's basketball, college basketball here.
It's March.
It is. March is here.
The madness has arrived.
Regular season is wrapping up. Yes, madness has arrived. You're right.
Yeah,
a couple of teams have locked up their regular season conference championships. Not that matters much. All of them got to play in their little conference championship because conferences need more money. So that's coming up this 2 weekends from now. So we have another full week left of regular season college basketball. So wrapping up the end of conference play. And then I think Tuesday the 11th kicks off championship games.
Yep.
And it goes right through to Sunday and then a week off and then Selection Sunday the 23rd.
And then Tuesday play-in tournament.
Yeah.
64s are playing each other.
Yeah. So we're not that far away. 22 days.
Nope. March Madness is here. We have arrived.
Exciting stuff.
Like I said, for some reason, March. As soon as you get to March, it's go time. Yes, this weekend is the big fight. This is UFC 313 this week. March 8th is Alex Periera fighting again. Title fight. So, yeah, I will definitely be locked in to watch this weekend. I might even go out of my way and buy it so I don't miss anything because I usually illegally stream it. And then I make cuts out every now and then. You got to refresh and do all that bullshit with Stream East. So, this might be one too where like I just pay the money and see if a couple people want to come watch it, and then they can actually get my money's worth. But yeah, that way I can just sit and watch it. Don't have to worry about trying to stream it and refresh and all that dumb shit. But
yeah,
it serves me right for illegally streaming it. But like $80 a fight's fucking crazy.
That's for like the night though, right? That's like 4
it's for
or
the
5
whole night,
fights.
and it also technically like the card starts at like 3 p.m. because then there's the prelims and the weigh-ins and like you're paying for all of that. But most of that shit's on ESPN at a certain time at like 8 p.m. ESPN brings on like a basketball game and the main card starts and that's UFC only.
Gotcha.
So like they've done it like that for years. So like what you're paying for is those final couple fights, which is fine.
Yeah.
I think my issue is that like even on a regular fight night, this shit's like $60 or $70. Like they never are just like, oh hey, here's a $25 fucking fight. Like to make it worth it to spend $80 on this one when I know $80 is this and the next and the next. Like It's crazy. Like even if they gave me a subscription kind of thing at this point, like if there was like $50 a month and you just have unlimited access and shit, I'd be like, all right, now I'm fucking listening because then like I'll get there's roughly 1 or 2 cards a month. Like you'd get your
Yeah,
money's worth. So like yeah, I'd be listening to a subscription for UFC at this point. But yeah,
that's
80 bucks
wild.
a fight yeah, it's crazy. But like 80 bucks a fucking fight is just bananas. So but yeah, I'm excited for this weekend. Yeah, this weekend's gonna be a crazy good fight. That's yeah, he's gonna maul some people more than likely into his cage stare and stuff. So
Fair enough.
but yeah, I have been oddly locked in. So, told you the other day that NASCAR. You told me that iRacing bought NASCAR. I was like, damn, I want to go play the old NASCAR games. Signed in like the next day to go download them. They're nowhere because iRacing bought the licensing. They signed in and said, take them all down. No one can download it ever again. The games are gone.
Yeah.
Some of the games are going on eBay for hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Like a
Oh
thousand
wow.
dollars for a hard copy of like an old NASCAR game on Xbox and shit. So like,
Might have to
I
check
didn't
out my
go through to
collection.
see. I was about to go through. Was gonna say you might have some back there. I always ended up trading in on my old games because I'm
I
stupid,
did
but
not.
I did as a kid. I just always was like, why the fuck would I need these? I could trade that money in and go buy an ounce and flip it. Like I was just such a dumb kid, and I'm so stupid. And now I hoard things I don't need for that reason. And
Yeah.
but I don't have a lot of my old video games, so I was like, damn, I want to buy like everyone talked about like NASCAR 2004 Thunder or something like that being like one of the
NASCAR
greatest
Thunder.
ever. Like that's
Yes.
yeah, like that's like one of the greatest NASCAR games ever. Like people stand on that, like Reddit alike, like everyone is
Yeah.
just like that's a
It's
stand on business kind of thing. Where apparently it's like the physics of the game doesn't feel like you're driving on a rail car. Like if you don't drive correctly and brake properly, you wreck. Like it is like
yeah.
it is. Everyone had such high praise for that game.
It's there's a couple things that go into it. One, it is a really good base vanilla game. It was incredible for its time. The thing that kind of goes on top of it is that they opened it up and allowed you to mod it,
That's what it
and so
was.
there
Yeah,
are
yeah, yeah.
mods. There have been people modding ever since.
I think
Um,
that's what yeah they were talking about downloading different paint schemes because then you get the
yes,
Earnhardt paint scheme because Teresa Earnhardt has not released like any of the
yes,
rights for Dale Earnhardt stuff, so that's why we don't see a ton of merch and ton of like
right,
R.I.P. Dale kind of shit. Like there's any raise hail praise Dale kind of or praise Dale raise hail shirt you see is like an Etsy knockoff kind of thing.
hmm
Like
yeah,
nothing is officially licensed with Earnhardt because she doesn't sell anything. So
yes,
um, from what I understood in a really quick reel that I watched the other day. But with that being said, though, that is people were talking about that with that. Like you could just easily download an Earnhardt car and feel like you're doing it like in F3 and running around the
yeah.
lap. So yeah, that one, and then people just always shit on Heat 5, and they said like Heat 3 and 4. Like if you're gonna play a new
Heat
one, like
5 is
5
so
is just
bad.
dumb. Yeah, they just said it's just dumb, so play 4. So I was like, okay, I look online. You cannot digitally download. Like when you type in NASCAR on Xbox store and hit games, like it just disappears. It's just like a couple of add-ons they haven't deleted yet, and like a paint scheme. It's like here's $1 for NASCAR 2012 paint scheme, whatever. Like it's just some
Yeah,
random thing. So I was like, all right, it's gone forever. I'm on eBay. I'm about to buy one of these because I'm like, I just want to play NASCAR. Like, I don't want to wait for iRacing to come out with a game later this year.
yeah,
Trying to get the boys hyped for NASCAR this year and watch races on Sundays. I want to race. I got my wheel out and I suck at iRacing, so maybe I'll be good at NASCAR. So I'm literally like, dude, I just want to play NASCAR, and like, I look it up. They all got removed December like 30th. So I'm literally like a month
uh,
fucking late. We talked about it like 5 weeks too late. All the games are gone. So I just gave up. Was like, whatever, fuck. I'm not spending $100 on a copy. I also have a disc Xbox. The boys don't, so they won't even be able to play it on theirs. I can only play it on mine. Another big dumb problem is my desk is against the wall. My Xbox with the disc tray is right against the wall. So anytime I want to put in the disc, I have to pull my whole desk out to get the disc. Like, there's just so many dumb problems with it. So I gave up on it. Sitting with the boys this weekend, and I was like, all right, let's play like a two-player game. You guys are getting good at controls and like multiple things and like menus and stuff. So like, they're
yeah,
figuring shit out. So like they've crushed the Ninja Turtle game like 100 times. So I was like, all right, like maybe like Gears of War or like a Call of Duty campaign or something, like something that's like a progression-based thing where they'll know that like they're getting through further and
yeah.
further because like Ninja Turtles is like that, but they're bored of it. So I'm looking through, and I get to just like one of the screens where it shows you like all your own games, like through Game Pass and EA Play and everything. I'm scrolling down through. Wouldn't you know, fucking NASCAR Heat 4 is listed. And I was like, why is that there? And I scroll down and click it. And it was like, you previously purchased this game. Click to install. And I was like, I did fucking buy it off Game Pass. I bought it for free off of Game
Oh,
Pass. And anytime you download a game, it registers it as a purchase. So
right.
I technically have purchased NASCAR Heat 4 before. So I was like, fucking no way, dude. Came running around the corner over to my Xbox, jumped on and downloaded that shit so fucking fast. Have it ready to start my career till later tonight. So yeah, so I am hype as fuck. I got it. They have been playing it nonstop. They do split screen and they have
Yeah.
just been nonstop. So they played it today. Joe was the 71 car, has been every race. It's Truex. Mac was the 20 car, which was Jones. And then tried
Yeah,
to explain to them that it wasn't the same guys, but they're just going to root for those numbers. So today, Michael McDowell and Christopher Bell. Mac
yeah,
ended up falling asleep. Now he's fucking up during the race. So he would have watched his guy win today. Like he was
yeah.
locked in on another 20 car, the D Wall car. He was like, the black and yellow, the black and yellow. But yeah, so yeah, anyway, where I was going with that was
Great
like
song, by
NASCAR
the way.
games. Oh, yeah, facts. Shout out Little Wiz. But yeah, so where I was going with that little NASCAR rant was that I almost got fucked out of playing the games, and then now I was able to play the games, and that's all they want to play. Like I was like, "Do you guys
That's
want to play?" They were
awesome.
like, "We just want to play the real racing game. We just want to play the real racing game." And I was like, "Okay, sounds good," because they were like, "We just want to get good enough to use your wheel," and I was like, "Fair. That's absolutely fair. I will let that happen. So go ahead, go get racing."
That's
So yeah,
awesome.
but anyway, so tell me about real NASCAR this weekend.
Yeah, so first trip to a squiggly oval for the year.
Crazy.
So left and right turns down in Austin, Texas at Circuit of the Americas, otherwise known as COTA. Um, Crazy. So this year they shortened the track by a mile and added like 20 laps or something like that. Uh, yeah, I thought it was the greatest thing ever. That was the most fun I've had watching a road course in a long time. Um, just the constant togetherness because the track was so much shorter and there were more passing zones, and it was just a lot of fun to watch. So Christopher Bell did win 2 weeks in a row now.
Mm-hmm.
Dude's slightly on fire. Had pulled it out at Atlanta, got arguably lucky, but also like you got to be good to be there.
Yeah,
With
yeah.
the
He was in
caution
the right
coming out.
spot. Yep.
Yeah. And then this week he just went out and he won. He
Yeah,
won
Bush
straight
just
up.
fell apart there in the end, like that. He was, yeah, he had that lead,
Yeah.
and they were talking about it too. Where like they knew, like that's like the stuff for me as like a super casual new fan. Like I can't identify that stuff.
Right.
Like I can't see like, oh, Mahomes is limping. He's not going to be throwing 50-yard bombs here coming up. I can see
Right.
that. Like I didn't know what they were talking about, but they were just like, Bush isn't going to be able to hold on to this much longer, and blah 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 blah. This
Yeah.
guy's about to make a move, and he's going to get him here, and he's not going to be able to defend both of them. And fucking 2 seconds later, dude's out and over, and I was like, ah, okay. I
Yeah.
was like, that's probably common knowledge to like the average fan. I was like, but I'm not there yet. I was like, I'm still a super casual, so I,
Yeah.
was like, I might get to casual stage here soon. But
It's
yeah, they knew
basically
it. They talked about his tire wear and shit, and because of
yeah.
that, like every turn he took like a little extra slide around it, and that's what
Uh-huh.
was causing the time. So like him being in
Yeah.
front was like by luck basically, and he was just playing defense. And I was like, all right,
Right.
that makes sense, but would not have been able to just see that right away and be like, oh, he's sliding a little bit. He's about to lose first place. I was just like, oh, Bush about to finish his last couple laps and win, and then drops to like fifth place. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. So it was really fun to watch. Next week they go to Phoenix. So now we go to our first true oval race. Although Phoenix is technically considered a short track, probably more of an intermediate track given that it's a mile long. Um, but this is also Phoenix 1. Phoenix 2 is the championship race.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty excited to see what happens there as we get back to our first oval. Um, where you really have to break and it's not drafting and all that fun stuff. So it should be exciting. So far this season has kicked ass. I'm super excited for it.
I've been locked in. That's today. I literally was like, let's get shit done. The race comes on at 3 o'clock. Like everybody get ready to go. Like I was making sure I was ready to go. So
That's awesome. I'm glad you and the
what?
boys are enjoying it. We just got to get you on the F1 train now.
I watched that prior to the game today. I was no IndyCar is separate, isn't it?
IndyCar is separate, yeah.
I learned this the
IndyCar
other day.
was week
IndyCar
one
and
this
F1.
year.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's I just watched that earlier today too. But I learned that the other day where I was like, because I said something. Ray and I were talking about. She's naming her daughter Indy, Indie.
Okay.
She was contemplating spellings and was going to do Indy. The middle name is Rain, Rayne.
Yeah.
His dad's name is Ray. My name is Dane, so Rain, Rayne for the middle name of her. I said do a Y because it matches the Y in Rain, but she likes the IE because it also is EE for both names or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, whatever. I was like, indie music or indie movies or whatever is what INDIE is. And I was
Yeah.
like, that feels weirder to me. And she was like, well, INDY is a fucking city. And I was like, and also the Indy 500. And I was talking about it for like 5 minutes. And I was like, yeah, it's this NASCAR race and blah, 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 blah. She left like 2 hours later. I bring it up on my phone because I was like, when is the Indy 500? And I was like, I'm going to pay attention to that because sometimes Tom and Miranda go.
Yeah.
So I look it up and I was like, right away, I look it up NASCAR Indy 500 and I get conflicting Google results. And I was like, the fuck am I looking at here? And I was like, okay, let me just back out of here. This isn't making sense. Let me just go to I downloaded the NASCAR app, go to the schedule, and I'm reading through and I'm like, they're not in Indianapolis this year. And I was like, okay,
They
when do
are,
they race? And
yeah.
in yeah, well,
Not the
not
same
in that,
weekend.
not when they should have been. And in the terms I was looking for, there was no Indy 500. So I was
Yeah.
like, what is going on?
Brickyard 400.
So yeah, so I saw that in Indianapolis, and I was like, well, why isn't that the Indy 500? So I was like, okay, maybe like they do 1-1 every other year or whatever. So I was like, when does NASCAR do the Indy 500? And it was like, NASCAR doesn't do the Indy 500. That's IndyCar. And I was like, what? It's like literally, I was like, I gotta tell Rand that next time I see her because she, not that she cares, but I was super wrong. I just thought that like Indy 500 or 400 or whatever, like it just made it sound like a NASCAR race, but. Yeah, so I learned that, and then I did a Google search, learned the difference between Formula One and IndyCar and all that. So yeah, I did my research there.
Yeah, two separate series, 3 separate cars.
Yeah, so from
Two
my
of them,
understanding,
to your
is the
credit, are open wheel, but
IndyCar are like you get what you get. Everyone is kind of racing the same car, whereas Formula One is like
similar,
you're building it up from the ground up, like piece by piece.
So similar to NASCAR, it's they give the IndyCar as a series basically supplies the parts and says, hey, you all relatively have the same cars.
Yeah, you could tweak a little,
right? You can set them up how you like to allow preference for the drivers handling and stuff like that. But more or less,
for the most part,
same car.
They're the same car. Formula One is individual builds.
Yeah, Formula One's wild. There's certain things that you have to build as a team is called a constructor, and as a constructor, you have to build certain parts. You're not allowed to buy them from anybody.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And there's certain parts that you can build for other teams and stuff like that.
It was like explaining the differences between the two leagues or whatever you want to call them, or associations, whatever. And I was like, okay, what's the main one? I was like, who pays attention to what more? I did a quick Google, and I'm glad I did it in the order I did. I did IndyCar revenue. It was like a few $1 million. I did Formula One revenue, and it was like a few $1 billion. And I was like, got it. Okay. Yeah. That's what people pay attention to. And I was like, okay, so IndyCar is like the MLS. We're like, we have our own, but like no one gives a fuck because there's the F1.
Outside of America, nobody cares about IndyCar.
Nobody cares about the Indy
Maybe
500,
slightly Canada and Mexico because they go there.
Right, but
really nobody.
It's nobody. It is a very like it feels like soccer where it's a global sport. So like it our own country league gets shit on, whereas like basketball being a global sport, we're the best, so we pay more attention to that.
Right.
Like, but so I learned a lot that day about the Indy 500 and all that good stuff. I got it all figured out now.
Fair enough.
But anyway.
So that wraps up, I guess, auto racing. March, as we mentioned, March is here, so Formula One does start soon. They did this past week have their opening test sessions in I forget, one of the Middle Eastern countries.
Couldn't tell you.
Abu Dhabi.
St. Petersburg.
No, I don't know. That was IndyCar. So yeah, Formula One starting soon. So we'll get to see them actually race, and that'll be exciting. And they'll be in Australia, so it'll probably be on at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Love that. That'll be actually kind of fun to like be up and watch. We should live stream it.
No, thank you. I'll record it and watch it at like 8 a.m. the next morning. But yeah,
I'm actually good on that.
For what it's worth, TGL is wrapping up their regular season. So their playoffs start March 17th and 18th. So that's also coming up. Damn, that's going to be a hell of a weekend. You're going to have the championship games for college basketball are going to be Sunday. And then Australia F1 race will also be that weekend. And then Monday and Tuesday will be the playoffs for TGL.
And basketball is going to be heavy on that weekend, and it's St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, so that's going to be a hell of a weekend. So TGL is going to be this Monday and Tuesday. For what it's worth, tomorrow at 3 p.m. I don't know whose decision that was. They play in Florida, so like, who's going to that? I guess retirees. That makes sense, right?
What is that, noon for West Coast? Yeah, if I work in California, you tell me TGL finals are at noon, I'm fucking pissed.
It's not finals. It's just regular. it's just a regular
Oh
matchup.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
we
Yeah,
did
you know
mention
what I mean.
the 3 p.m. matchup is between the two best teams in the
That's
league.
that's what we're talking about. Yeah. Just it feel
Yeah,
the scheduling isn't quite there yet, but I'm sure they'll get it down. They'll have more players, more teams, more locations.
yeah.
Like, yeah, that is hopefully the goal. So, but yeah,
Anything else for us? Otherwise, I'll pull us out with a fun fact.
yeah, I think we are all good. Only other thing, real quick, because I'm a bronze sexual. He is 18 points away from. He is 18 points away from 50,000 career points, regular season and playoffs, and he's got 6 right now in the game. So he needs 12 more points against the Clippers tonight, and he'll have 50,000 fucking points.
It's wild.
25,000 layups. Like I don't even know if like. I mean, I know I haven't, but like even just to think about like 25,000 layups amongst like practice and pickup ball and driveway ball and real ball, like that's so many. And he scored 25,000 just on the court alone,
Yeah.
like just in front of us, documented alone. Like how many times has LeBron seen the ball go through the hoop? Like, holy
Wow.
fuck! Like you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like think about that, like driveway ball as a kid, like at least a million times. Like the ball has just dropped through the net, probably like a couple 100,000, but still, like that's insane. So yeah. So LeBron's on a
Yeah. That's crazy.
50,000 pace, but yeah. Other than that, hit me with a fun fact, and we'll
All
get out
right.
of here for our catch-up episode.
Fun fact in honor of Chuck McGill. Taser stands for Thomas A. Swift's electric rifle.
Thomas A. Swift electric rifle. Yeah, electric rifle is a crazy name for it. Electric rifle. That's what they should be called. Like, you're gonna get the electric rifle. You're about to get the ER. Like, you're gonna get the ER and end up in the ER. Yeah,
Yeah.
electric rifle is a crazy. It makes it sound like a Halo gun, honestly. But yeah,
Yeah.
Thomas A.
Kinda.
Swift electric rifle.
Yeah.
I also recently, when I was traveling, got on a rabbit hole when I was trying to look up like what states I could have guns in and what states I was allowed to have weed in and what states I could have both in, and got lost on those articles where it was like stun guns and tasers.
Yeah.
Taser are pretty much legal in every state. I think there was one. I think it was like North Carolina where it was like illegal. Like, there's just like one state where a taser is illegal.
Yeah.
Everywhere else was like you can have it wherever you want. We don't give a shit. Carry it to a school or a bar. Have fun at church. Like who gives a shit?
Yeah.
A stun gun is the one that has the projectile. So that was the first
Yeah.
time that I had like realized in my
I
head.
think you have them backwards.
I don't think so.
Stun guns are the ones you carry with you.
Oh yeah,
And a
yeah,
taser
yeah,
is the one you shoot because tasers
shoot
are
the
what officers
projectile.
carry.
Yes, yeah. You're right. I did. I switched them. Because in my head I literally went, no, stun gun's the one that shoots, but it's not. Yeah. Stun gun is the one that has like an actual like the handle and you're zapping somebody. But,
Yes.
yeah. So then reverse. Then North Carolina has a stun gun law that like they're the only ones that like handheld stun guns you're not allowed to use. Like that's the one that like Jesse and RJ used in that video in high school that time. Yeah, like a stun gun.
I
Yeah,
hate that
like
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I just see RJ flopping on his back. We watched it during driver's ed. RJ was like, I got extra credit. And it was like, what the fuck? I think that's on YouTube, actually. I'm almost certain it is.
Because that's how they had to put it on YouTube so that she
Back
could show
in
it
the
in
day.
class.
Jesse
Driver's ed.
Kaiser. Hello, good sir. Do you have the link for the RJ, I almost said taser video, stun gun video? Okay, just ask Jesse for that, so we'll get a hold of that here soon.
We'll get a GIF going in the
Yes, yeah,
the
oh
chat.
yes. Fucking RJ's arms going up. He's in that hoodie. He's like, all right, go, bang. That's fucking yeah. I'm excited for that. Hopefully we can get a copy of that. All right, cool. Yeah, that's a solid fact. But yeah, and then tasers. That one was like half the laws. Like if you're not like you need like a concealed carry permit or something. Like you need like extra certifications or something that like allows you to. You can't just have that just walking around like that's considered a weapon, like a gun. Like, but yeah, stun guns. Most of them are like, yeah, fuck it, do it, carry it, do whatever you want to do. It's fun. Play with your friends with it. Who cares?
All right.
All right.
That wraps us up on this Monday. We'll
I'll be back. I'm pretty sure we just hit like an hour on the dot, which is crazy too. Pretty sure we started recording right at 10, now we're at 11. Weird. All right.
Pretty close. Yeah.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Appreciate you all. Have a great week. We will catch you Thursday.
GG's.